This is the NSCA News Podcast. My name is Annie Lafrenière and welcome to the North Shore of Quebec. Today, we are presenting an interview with two of our own employees, Laury and Alicia Buffett, who are responsible for the youth mental health dossier here at the NSCA. We will talk about their activity called Wear It Purple, going on in Sept-Îles at Queen Elizabeth High School on Friday, October 13th. Then we will cover community events and services on the Côte-Nord region.
All right, so good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for being here. I was wondering if you could just introduce yourself to our readers before we get started, just so people can put a name with your voice.
Yes, I can start. I'm Laury and I'm the manager of the community development at North Shore Community Association.
Awesome. Welcome, Laury.
Thank you.
And I'm Alicia Buffett. I am the projects coordinator for the NSCA. So I actually have 3 projects under this, which is youth mental health, supporting and promoting mental health, and digital literacy. So
awesome. Well, welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being here. I was wondering if you could start just by telling me a little bit about the Wear It Purple campaign that you've got going on right now, and what that activity is going to look like in schools.
Okay, well, Wear It Purple Day is actually originally from Australia. It's an event that they created through an organization of the same name. So Wear It Purple Day, they started when they realized a lot of the Two-Spirit LGBTQ youth were, struggling in school with bullying, mental health. Suicide was a big concern for them as well. So they decided to create this event that celebrated these youth rather than putting a bullet on or a target on their back, I guess. Mm-hmm. This organization, they started in Australia, but now this event is actually celebrated worldwide. This event is to show support to these Two-Spirit LGBTQ plus youth, and to show them that there is a community that loves and supports them, not just one day, but every day.
That's amazing. That sounds like a really cool initiative. It's something that's so important for kids. I know that in high school, I would have loved to have had something like that. And why is it that the two of you chose to be a part of this and to celebrate this year?
Well, this is actually our first time doing this type of event in the high school. I've always wanted to do these kinds of events. So I figured, this would be the perfect opportunity to do it, especially with our high school. I know that there are a lot of students who identify as part of the Two-Spirit LGBTQ community. We wanted to do this because it shows support to our youth. Being part of the English community, they're already kind of marginalized because they speak English. We're the minority in our town. Mm-hmm. They deserve to have a loving and caring environment, and they deserve to be celebrated rather than pushed to the side.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, Alicia has said it all. I think it's really just, we want to show our openness, our support towards these youth who most of the time sadly feel like they're not part of the community or that feel they're marginalized. So, and also like an important aspect that Alicia brought up was the language also. So if we talk about the English-speaking community, we're a minority in Quebec and a minority on the North Shore too. There are very little services that are offered for English-speaking population. Already there are very little services offered for French-speaking population on the North Shore. Well, so we can imagine the minorities, like language minorities, but also for people who are marginalized. So if we talk about the 2S LGBTQ plus services, like it doesn't exist on the North Shore.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what's going to happen on the actual day itself, if there are activities going on, what can people expect?
So, because like we said, this is our first year doing it, it's really trial and error. The goal is that we would start in the morning with like a little introduction of the day, really kind of talk about what is Wear It Purple. We've asked students to, if they identify as part of the community, to dress in their flag colors. So let's say if they're pansexual, they could wear yellow, pink, and blue. If they don't identify, they would wear either purple, or they would come dressed in black and white, which is part of like the ally flag colors. After our introduction, we have all the students split into 5 groups. So we have secondary 1 to sec 5 plus adult education. which is also at the high school. They would all be mixed into different groups, and we would have different stations. So with every station having a different kind of activity. For example, we have like carnival games and physical activity. We have arts and crafts. We're going to be doing a inclusive walkway outside. So we're going to be painting the sidewalk on the school grounds and stuff like that. We are really, really lucky that we have a lot of community organizations in Sept-Îles that are going to be contributing and being implemented in this event. So each person who represents this organization is going to be at a station. They're going to be manning a station, and they're going to be doing activities with the kids. We will be offering a free snack in the morning and in the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have more fun, I would say, but something more chill. We're going to do bingo, and all the prizes are associated with queer icons. So that's really fun. And then we're going to be watching a movie, which we chose Perks of Being a Wallflower, which talks about LGBTQ, mental health, trauma, all kinds of topics that I think are pertinent to all of the teens, not just the specific community. Besides that, I think it's going to be really fun. I think the students are really excited. We have student council too. They have a group. They're going to be running their own station. They're very excited. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the day goes.
That's so cool. The idea of dressing as your flag, I think, is really beautiful. It'll be such a colorful environment. I love that. Laurie, did you want to add anything?
Yes, well, I just wanted to talk about the importance of a safe space, because we have integrated safe space inside the high school. So at Queen Elizabeth High School, now the safe space has been existing since last year. So for us, it's just I thought it was important that I talk about that, because it shows our support also that we have towards the 2SLGBTQIA plus students. Right? So we just want to say that the importance of that safe space where students can feel that they can be open about who they are, about what they need, about what they feel. And we also want to let the schools know that when you accept to have a safe space inside a school, it's because you show your support and your openness to students to feel safe and to be who they want to be. That's very important, and we thank you, the schools who open up to that safe space, because it doesn't mean that they don't feel safe anywhere else inside the school, but it means they give it it's more like an informal space where they can go and outside of classes and just talk and share with others and seek help when they're struggling, and knowing that there's a social worker or an intervener in that safe space that is there also to welcome them, that is there to accept them and be there for them also. That's really important for us, the safe space, and that's something that the NSCA is really proud of, to work in collaboration with the schools so that the youth can feel accepted and can feel safe inside their own school. Also, well, I just wanted to say thank you to our partners. Also, well, we could say give a shout out to our partners for working with us and collaborating throughout that activity, because without them, we couldn't do this alone. So I would like to thank ITUM, Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi du Plessis, le Rond-Point, Queen Elizabeth High School, Ashley Leblanc, who is the social worker, and their CLC CDA coordinator also. We'd like to say thank you to Air Ouverte, the CIS La Côte-Nord, and all the NSCA employees that are also implicated inside the activity. And we'd like also, before we finish, I just want to remind the youth that we are there for them, and that they have they have an important place inside of our society too, and that if ever anybody is struggling with any subject, it could be mental health, or it could be gender identity, or struggling with other issues in their life, there are organizations that exist. I know that I would like to give some. I find it's important. There's it's called Interligne, which is for the 2S LGBTQ plus community. So they can go there on that site and they can write, either they can call or they can also chat. So send messages to talk with an intervener. And also more specifically for First Nation youth, there's a Hope for Wellness, which is also a helpline that they can call.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I agree. I think safe spaces, I think it was Alicia who mentioned when talking about Wear Purple mental health and suicide. And I think we see that the rates are so much higher for mental illness and for suicide in queer youth and specifically trans youth. And so having those spaces in high schools is so important for making sure that our queer folks live a long and happy life and don't end up suffering. I think that's so important. Alicia, did you have anything to add about safe spaces?
Well, I mean, also too, remembering that safe spaces aren't always just physical spaces, they're also people. So, knowing that the students, let's say at Queenie, they have support from community members, staff members, even their own peers, that can also be their safe space. Having someone to open up to, remembering that they are brave for, coming out. They could be brave, maybe they're not out yet, but they want to be out and they're showing their support for their peers. Remembering that they matter and that their mental health matters. That to me is the big picture of all this, is that they matter and that they're people too, and they deserve to be treated as such.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think that was everything I wanted to ask you guys about today. But I really appreciate you speaking about this. I think it's such a great initiative. If there's anything else you'd love to add, I'd love for you to do that now. But if not, I think we'll wrap up.
Well, thank you again, Callan, for inviting us. And we'd like to continue to talk about things like that, subjects that are very important to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Don't forget about the upcoming early childhood activities. Storytime in Sept-Îles will be held on Saturday, October 14th at 10 a.m. and Storytime in Port-Cartier will be held on October 15th at 10 a.m. Contact the libraries in Sept-Îles and Port-Cartier to register. The Comité de la Nuit des Sans-Abris invites the entire population to take part in the 34th edition of Nuit des Sans-Abris on October 20th from 6 p.m. to midnight at the Vieux Poste in Sept-Îles. The theme will be Without a Roof, Without a Choice. At a time when a housing crisis is sweeping Quebec, taking part in this gathering is a simple but concrete gesture of solidarity towards citizens experiencing homelessness and the organizations working with them. Come and share a non-judgmental moment in a festive atmosphere. Everyone is welcome. As part of the program on site, you'll enjoy a warm, sober atmosphere, a campfire, and a DJ. An open mic will be available and various other events and surprises will be found on site. But what is La Nuit des Sans-Abris? It was founded in 1989 by the Auberge du Cœur du Québec under the name La Nuit des Jeunes Sans-Abris. Originally held in downtown Montreal, in 1997 it expanded to reach people in every community in Quebec. La Nuit des Sans-Abris is still held every year on the third Friday in October, and today it takes place in more than 60 municipalities. Local organizations are responsible for organizing the event. A national committee made up of delegates supported by the Réseau Solidarité et Tolérance du Québec coordinates the event at the national level. Media Literacy Week is coming up from October 23rd to the 27th. Media literacy goes hand in hand with digital literacy. Not sure what the difference is? Here are the definitions. Media literacy is the ability to critically analyze stories presented in the mass media and to determine their accuracy or credibility. Digital literacy is someone's ability to find, evaluate, and communicate information through typing or digital media platforms. In short, you need both media and digital literacy to find good sources of information and to analyze if they're credible. Both skills will help you determine which posts on your social media feed could be fake news or outrageous clickbait, and avoid scams. They can also help parents evaluate the latest fad their children want to take part in. We'll celebrate the week on our social media pages with tips and tricks to increase your media literacy. On October 24th, join Amber from the NSCA and Gabrielle from the Coasters Association for Coastal Roots, a discussion group from dads, moms, parents, and caregivers living on the North Shore. We will be talking about nutrition with nutrition consultant Dana, just in time for Halloween shenanigans. Toddler Time will take place in Sept-Îles on Friday, October 27th at 10 a.m. at the NSCA Sept-Îles office. Put on your Halloween costume and join Amber for a Monster Mash. Contact Amber to register.
We would like to thank our sponsor for this podcast, the Secrétariat aux relations avec les Québécois d'expression anglaise.